Good evening, truth seekers and satire lovers. I'm Ethan Blake, and tonight we take a guided tour through a rhetorical maze built entirely out of nonsense. Our guide, someone who thinks speaking confidently is the same as making sense. Spoiler, it's not. From grand statements that go nowhere to passionate defenses of nothing, I'll be your sarcastic translator, ready to shine a flashlight on every logical dead end. So buckle up and bring your humor compass. We're navigating the wilderness of delusion, and the only way out is through the fire.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it. I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son.
A few days ago, we showed you Bill Maher absolutely torching Adam Schiff for his towering hypocrisy, and the ripple effect it had on the already struggling Democrats. Well, buckle up, because this is part 2. A deeper dive into Schiff's shameless double standards and full-blown case of Trump derangement syndrome. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the perfect time, unless you want to miss more epic political meltdowns like this one. From the office of legal opinion to public grandstanding, Schiff's spin is unraveling fast.
I was always of the opinion, number one, that the Office of Legal Counsel opinion that you can't indict a sitting president was wrong.
Oh, good.
That, in fact, you can indict a sitting president. I think there are prudential reasons not to try someone who's the President of the United States, but particularly when there's any risk of the statute of limitations running. If the president commits a crime, they should be indicted, and you should stay prosecution. So, but frankly, I had no expectation that that would be the course Mueller would take, even if the evidence supported it, because he is fundamentally conservative, and I don't mean left-right conservative, but he was going to follow the established policy. He was not going to make new ground. So I didn't think it was realistic to expect that he would indict the president. And those that did, I think, were unrealistic in their expectations.
I want you to really pay attention to how Adam Schiff practically recited love sonnets about indicting President Trump during his first 4 years. This wasn't just standard political criticism, it bordered on obsession. Now look, I get it. Schiff's a Democrat, so of course he's going to cheerlead for Biden and foam at the mouth every time Trump so much as breathes. But is that what America really needs right now? Politicians who treat party loyalty like a sacred religion while refusing to call out the corruption within their own ranks? The country is already hanging by a thread politically. The last thing we need is more partisan puppets pretending to pursue justice, when in reality they're just pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Accountability shouldn't stop at the party line. But for people like Schiff, none of that matters. The only goal is keeping their party in power, no matter the cost. The rest of the country, they can go to hell as far as he's concerned. Now, you're probably wondering where I'm going with this. Fair enough. So, take a look at this clip, and I'll be back with my thoughts right after.
But this was our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, if you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after?
I want you to really pay attention to how Adam Schiff practically recited love sonnets about indicting President Trump during his first 4 years. This wasn't just standard political criticism, it bordered on obsession. Now look, I get it. Schiff's a Democrat, so of course he's going to cheerlead for Biden and foam at the mouth every time Trump so much as breathes. But is that what America really needs right now? politicians who treat party loyalty like a sacred religion while refusing to call out the corruption within their own ranks. The country is already hanging by a thread politically. The last thing we need is more partisan puppets pretending to pursue justice, when in reality they're just pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Accountability shouldn't stop at the party line. But for people like Schiff, none of that matters. The only goal is keeping their party in power, no matter the cost. The rest of the country, they can go to hell as far as he's concerned. Now, you're probably wondering where I'm going with this. Fair enough. So, take a look at this clip, and I'll be back with my thoughts right after.
Here's the awful dilemma that we face. If we don't impeach him, that sends a message that this kind of conduct, this obstruction of justice, this kind of willing use of the help of a foreign adversary, all the lies and cover-up, that this is non-impeachable. At the same time, if we do impeach him, and he is acquitted as he would likely be acquitted, then the message is those are not impeachable offenses. At the end of the day, Bill, there's only one way to deal with this problem, whether we impeach him or not, and that is to vote his ass out of office.
That's what Adam Schiff has always been after. Not justice, not truth, but removing Donald Trump from office by any means necessary and replacing him with a political puppet of his choosing. If you read between the lines, it becomes painfully clear. Schiff wasn't motivated by a noble pursuit of accountability. He was singularly focused on flipping power back to his party. And here's the biggest giveaway. If Schiff truly had rock-solid evidence, if his case against Trump was as airtight as he claimed night after night, then why was he already predicting an acquittal before the trial even started? That's not the confidence of a man armed with facts. That's the strategy of a political player who understands that optics and theater matter more than truth. Schiff wasn't appealing to the Constitution. He was playing to the cameras. This was never about justice. It was always about control, media headlines, and scoring points for Team Blue. But here's where things really start to unravel.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Bill Maher continues to prove he's a master tactician when it comes to exposing political hypocrisy, and he did it again with one brutally simple question. Watch how he dismantles Adam Schiff's entire narrative with surgical precision. For the past 7 years, Schiff has made it his mission to go after Donald Trump, portraying him as the ultimate political villain. That's been his brand. Trump bad, Orange man scary. But Maher cuts through the noise with a question no Democrat wants to hear. Okay, let's say Trump is a monster and we vote against him. Why should we vote for your candidate? Even more damning, what does Adam Schiff actually stand for besides hating Trump? Crickets. Schiff is known not for his ideas, not for his leadership, but for obsessively attacking a single political figure. Remove Trump from the equation, and all that's left is a hollow partisan shell with a microphone. What makes this worse is the Democrats' handling of their own scandal, the Hunter Biden laptop saga. After years of preaching about moral urgency and transparency, Schiff didn't call for truth. Instead, he rushed to Hunter's defense, no questions asked. Worse, he went on the offensive, targeting critics and even the whistleblower repairman. Maher exposed it all.
John Paul, we know that your life has been turned absolutely upside down because you were accused of spreading Russian disinformation. Tell us about the last few years and what led you to file this lawsuit.
Good morning, Carly. Thanks for having me on the show. Well, the last couple of years have been pretty tough. It was pretty quick out of the gate that I was labeled a hacker. And then after Adam Schiff and 51 intelligence experts decided to pen a letter and tell the rest of the American people I was a Russian asset, things have kind of gone downhill from there.
I've got to hand it to John Paul MacIsaac. The man had a sense of humor, even while being dragged through the mud. He famously referred to Adam Schiff as Adam Schiff, and honestly, it fits. Schiff didn't just bend the truth, He shifted it, twisted it, and reshaped it to fit his political agenda. In any functioning democracy, someone like John Paul, who had the courage to come forward and reveal the shady dealings from Hunter Biden's now infamous laptop, should be praised, protected, and even rewarded for speaking truth to power. But not in Schiff's version of America. Instead of pursuing the facts, Schiff took to national television and branded Mac Isaac as a Russian asset, with no evidence, no hesitation, and zero accountability. It was a full-scale character assassination. And, like clockwork, the media followed suit, turning a whistleblower into a villain. All of this happened for one reason, because he exposed the wrong guy. That's not justice. That's political warfare in disguise.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son.
Without a shred of evidence, Adam Schiff boldly declared that the Hunter Biden laptop story was nothing more than Russian disinformation. No investigation, no due diligence, just baseless finger-pointing wrapped in the guise of a national security concern. Schiff went on national television and blatantly lied to the American public, claiming the laptop was fake, the story was fabricated, and the whole thing was being pushed by bad actors, namely Rudy Giuliani, in a desperate attempt to smear Joe Biden ahead of the election. He portrayed it as a classic Kremlin-style dirty trick, hoping the American people would tune out and write it off as a hoax. But here's the kicker. The laptop was real. The emails were real. The corruption, influence peddling, and questionable foreign dealings, all real. Schiff didn't just make a mistake, he actively misled the public, all in the name of protecting his party's golden boy. And now, instead of accountability or even a basic apology, all we get is silence. Convenient, isn't it?
I want a group of people who are not ideologically captured by either side. I am tired of the extremes and the extremists who dominate the debate. They have the megaphone and we hear them more, but I don't think they represent what most people in the country talk about. I think almost any issue you could actually come up with a reasonable middle ground.
Just like Bill Maher, many of us are fed up with politicians like Adam Schiff, ideologically captured, morally inconsistent, and blindly loyal to party over country. These are the people who view every issue through a hyper-partisan lens, utterly incapable of holding their own side accountable. If Donald Trump so much as jaywalks, they're ready to crucify him. But when Joe Biden's son is caught in a full-blown scandal, suddenly it's all Russian disinformation and conspiracy theories. The hypocrisy is staggering. It's no longer about justice, truth, or integrity. It's about shielding their political tribe at any cost. These aren't public servants. They're partisan operatives playing a dangerous game with the country's future. And if we don't start pushing back, they'll drag all of us into the political gutter with them. It's time to call them out, expose their doublespeak, and refuse to be led further down this destructive path of division, deception, and decay. Enough is enough. The American people deserve better than this toxic charade.
Let's live in the year we're living in. You know, the year 2024 is just very different. Very, like night and day different from 50 years ago, even probably 20 years ago.
In the end, Adam Schiff embodies everything that's broken in modern American politics. Hypocrisy, double standards, and unwavering loyalty to party over principle. For years, he built his reputation by obsessively going after Donald Trump, pushing narratives with little to no evidence, and dismissing valid concerns like the Hunter Biden laptop scandal as mere Russian disinformation. When the truth surfaced, did he admit fault or pivot toward honesty? Number he doubled down, and unfortunately, he's far from the only one. Politicians on both sides have turned our political system into a team sport, where victory trumps truth and protecting the party matters more than protecting the nation. Bill Maher said it best. If all you're offering is fear of the other side, then what are you really offering? Americans deserve real leadership. People with convictions, not political opportunists chasing power by any means necessary. It's time we stop tolerating the sham and start demanding better. Because if we keep following politicians like Schiff, we'll keep racing toward disaster. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.